Hi, everyone. Happy Monday evening. Are you ready to put your feet up and just relax? You can do that, but we're going to work a little bit while you do that. So, welcome to the Meal Planning 101 class. A lot of times you start something and stop and you think, why can't I just stick with it? Why can't I just keep moving forward and make progress? And part of that is because you haven't planned. Got to make sure that I am live here so that I'm not just talking to myself. I don't see anybody on. Okay, I am live here. So if you come on, let me know that you're here. I cannot see anybody, and I do not want to talk to myself. So please come on and let me know that you're here. Like I said, our lives are crazy busy. We have constant distractions. And if we don't plan, then things aren't going to happen. And if we don't stay consistent at our age, if we don't have some kind of consistency, then we don't see progress. And so the main way to be consistent is to have a plan, to do some planning. Hey, this is StreamYard. If you've never used StreamYard before, go ahead and just give them permission to put your name in so that I can see who you are, because otherwise it just says Facebook user. I can't see who you are. So hopefully, yeah, it says I'm going live. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission. Just click on that link and it will give them permission to use your name. And then we're good to go. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Hey, Pandy. Hi there. Yeah, so I can at least see your name on my phone. So if you come on later, let me know that you saw the live. If you happen to watch the replay, let me know that you watched the replay. Tell me where you are watching from. What state are you from? I know it's Monday evening. Let me know where you're from. It is super, super windy here today. I mean, like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so that when you walk, the wind's kind of this way. But anyway, it's warm. So I know it's hard to concentrate this time of day. So I'm just going to give you the very, very basics so that you don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have so much information you can't use, but you have enough that you can get started. Hey, Janelle. Just to get started with the basics and have kind of a framework to work from so that you can be successful, because I want to make this doable. So as we go, be sure to post questions as we go. I'm going to be checking comments, and that way we can address them as they come up. Hey, Julie. So if you've never met me before, I'm Christy Ryan, also known as Christy Varberg. I set up this page not quite a year ago to provide support and information for women over 40 who are struggling with staying consistent and getting results. I have been helping women for 34 years, 28 of those on my own. In fact, March is my anniversary date for opening my business and starting my private consulting. I'm also a Beachbody coach, and I became a Beachbody coach because I love their fitness programs. I do them personally. I love them. So if you are looking for a program and don't know where to start, shoot me a message. But basically, I have been through every phase, well, not every phase, but a lot of phases in my life, young adult, childbirth, child rearing, middle school activities, high school activities, reaching 40, not in all that order, going through menopause, being 60, all the things that change. Our metabolism changes, our life changes, our routines change, everything changes. But all it takes is a little pivoting. We can't just say, oh, this doesn't work anymore. What I did doesn't work anymore, because it doesn't. So how can we pivot? How can we make it work with our lifestyle, with our bodies now, which can't do the same things they used to? We can't eat like we used to. We can't lose weight like we used to. We don't have the energy that we used to. So how do we make it work? I've been through all of that. And so I share with you what I know as a registered nurse and what I have learned as I have gone through those decades of life so that you can be successful too. Hey, Kate. So I will be giving away an Amazon gift card tonight, $5, and I pick it from the last comment. And so be sure that you are commenting. The more you comment, the more likely you're going to have a chance to win. And it's always fun to win something, right? So Be sure that you comment. Let me know that you're here. Tell me if you're live. Tell me if you get the replay, because that's a comment. But also ask your questions. Tell me what's not working for you. Tell me what is working for you. And let's see if we can address those to get over those little glitches so that you can keep moving forward. So, all right. So why don't you plan? What you guys had posted in that post that I had about meal planning is you don't know what to eat. You don't have ideas. Or your family is so picky. Your family complains. Believe me, I have been there. I've told you before that my family used to pick out any kind of tomato chunk that might be in tomato sauce. So I had to blend it. I had to blend it so that they would eat the spaghetti sauce. That's how ridiculously picky they were. You can still work with that. You don't have time. You know, people say they don't plan because they don't have time to plan. You're running from sun up until you drop, you know, so tired at night, and you don't feel like you have the time to sit down and think about all of your meals for the week. You get bored eating the same thing over and over and over. And, you know, people have said, I just can't eat the same thing. I don't like leftovers. And so you don't feel like you can plan, but you still can. Maybe you don't like to cook. That's me. I am done cooking. I do not want to spend more than 15, 20 minutes cooking something to eat because I don't like fancy recipes. I don't like doing a lot of different things. So my meals are basic and quick. Doesn't mean they're boring though. Maybe you feel like you have to cook everything from scratch to be healthy. And sometimes that can hold you back, that false belief of what your meals should be like. But even more reason to plan, because otherwise you'll get stuck in all of those excuses, all of those reasons why you can't plan. So we're going to solve that tonight. All right. So do you even need to make a full meal plan for the week? Is it really that important? And that kind of depends on you. I had a client who would decide in the morning what she wanted to eat. She would run to the store that day and she would make it that night. She would do the same thing the next day, decide what she wanted to eat, run to the store, get the stuff, make it that night. If you have time for that and you like that kind of flexibility, you don't have to plan. But most of us aren't like that. Most of us most of us don't have time to go to the store every day. And we would rather use that time doing something else, right? Than running to the store and driving there and dealing with it and coming home. So doing some planning can actually save you time. Also, if you are skipping meals, if you don't have energy, or if you are making bad choices when it comes to meal choices, then you need to plan, because otherwise you're not going to have the flexibility in your meals. You're not going to have time to prepare them. You're not going to have the desire to do it. So ask yourself, do you need to plan? If you don't stick with some kind of consistent guide that helps you get results, then you need to plan. So which are you? Are you fly by the seat of your pants, or do you feel like you need to plan? Let me know here. It needs to be basic and quick and easy. Absolutely. Hey, Marilyn. Hey, Jean. Glad you found us. So, yeah, has to be easy. So, is this you? How many of you skip breakfast because you don't have time? Skipping a meal may seem like it won't make that big of a difference. You're in a hurry. Who cares if you don't eat it? But it will catch up with you in the evening. And so when people tell me they snack in the evening, they get home and they're so hungry they can't stop eating from when they hit the door until they go to bed, that's probably because you have skipped a meal. And so if you want to stop skipping a meal, especially breakfast or maybe even lunch, if you skip those meals earlier in the day, you're going to be out of control, hungry in the evening. That's just a physiological thing. Your blood sugar is low. Your system knows you need something that's going to get your blood sugar up quickly. And usually that's junk, you know, high sugar, high starch, something like that, because it's going to get your blood sugar up fast. So if you find yourself overeating, skipping meals, overeating, that's an excellent reason to plan. Janelle, I have to plan for the weekly evening meals for the family, but for me, I'm more flexible. My life is just too busy. I recently decided the night before what I eat so I don't make bad choices. Yeah, and if you can make 2 different meals, great. But what I want to help you do is not have to do that. Make 2 different meals. Okay, Jean, fly by the seat of your pants. And so if you have the tendency to fly by the seat of your pants and you don't have time to run to the store every day, you're going to have to plan, because that's the only way you're going to do it. You're right. If I don't make a plan, you eat junk. Yep, yep, yep. All right. So you want to eat at home. This might be you. Tell me if this is you too. You want to eat at home. You want to make a meal plan. But when you get home, you can't think of anything. You can't think of what to eat, or you don't have the ingredients. Maybe you think, oh, let's have spaghetti, but you don't have the ingredients. And so what do? You end up ordering out or eating maybe frozen pizza or something that you might have in the refrigerator. So planning, again, not only keeps you from being super hungry, but it helps you make sure that you have healthier options available. And back to skipping meals because I'm not planning my meals out. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so why do we do that? Why do we do that when we know it doesn't work? I do the same thing sometimes. I'll be in a routine and it's working and things go good. And then something happens and I think, oh, I just won't do it this once. And then pretty soon you're back into your old habits. So we have to remind ourselves that we do better with the planning. That, when people say they aren't motivated, use that for motivation. Knowing that you're going to fall way off track, you're going to be eating out of control if you don't plan, that should motivate you to show up for your planning. All right. So we talked about this, being super hungry if you skip a meal. So, a lot of times people think that has to do with willpower. If I just had more willpower, I wouldn't eat so much at night. It's not willpower. It's lack of planning. And so you don't want to have to rely on how you feel in the moment, because usually that's hungry and tired. You want to have something that's available because you have planned it. So let's do that. So some misconceptions that pop up about meal planning, and this is why you don't meal plan, is because a lot of people feel like if you're going to eat healthy, you should plan 21 meals a week. That is not going to happen. I don't know. I don't care how organized you are or how motivated you are, or how focused you are on getting healthy. You're not going to plan 21 meals a week. So just forget about that. What you want to look at is planning the meal that you have the most difficulty with. So if you have a hard time eating breakfast and then you end up hungry and tired at night, focus on breakfast. If you do decent through the day and you come home at night and you start eating a bunch of junk, plan your evening meal. So think right now, maybe take a note of it. What is the meal that's the most difficult for you to control? For some people, maybe they're not planning lunch, and so they end up eating out and, going through fast food because they didn't plan. So maybe lunch is the meal that you need to plan. But think about the meal that you tend to make the worst choices at and plan that one. So another misconception is you should have something different every night. I think someone commented in that thread about, I just don't want to eat the same thing. And honestly, studies show that people who maintain a healthy weight tend to eat the same thing. Just because it's easy. You don't have to plan. You don't have to think about it. You know what to get at the store. You know what you're going to have available, and you know how to fix it. However, when that starts getting boring, then you've got to change it up. And so as long as you're okay with eating something, not something every single night the same, but eating leftovers and maybe having the same thing 2 or 3 times a week, then you're probably going to be more successful as long as you listen to that inner voice that says, I'm bored with this. What should I do? And then you're willing to change it up. Another misconception is that meal plans take hours to make. And, at first it might, because you have no idea what you're going to eat. If you're going to plan your evening meal and you're going to try to plan 7 meals, you don't even know where to start. And so it might take some time at first, but once you get into the hang of it, it's going to go super fast, and you should be able to plan your meals within 10 minutes. Get to the store then, know what you're going to have, and it's easy after that. It's overwhelming and expensive. A lot of people feel like eating healthy and planning full meals out is too expensive. But a survey done in 2017 showed that meal planning reduced monthly food costs from $199 a person to $152 a person over the course of a month. And so think about it. If you haven't planned and you go through Subway, it's going to be $10. If you've planned something, you're going to be able to eat much cheaper than $10 in one meal. And so planning is not expensive. Eating healthy is not expensive. So get that out of your head. All right. Any other questions? Not yet. All right. So another misconception is you have to take your whole day off or your whole weekend meal planning. I don't want to do that, and again, some people do better cooking little extras, like when they're waiting for dinner to boil or bake or whatever, they can chop up some extra veggies, or they can throw something in the Instant Pot or whatever. So you can do little things at a time like that, or you can take an hour or two and fix 2 or 3 meals that you can eat on during the week. So you have to look at your own personality and know what you're going to be most likely to stick with. Like for instance, tonight I get that Misfit Market box that has all these weird little shaped, little rejected, poor little fruits and vegetables that don't get purchased or can't be on the shelf. And I had some beets. And so I thought, well, I'll just boil them. So while they were boiling, I chopped up raw veggies to have for quick grabs during the week. I chopped up some veggies that I can put in smoothies and froze those. So you can do little things while you're cleaning up after dinner or while you're cooking, waiting for something to bake, that will help you later on. So you might just be spending 10 minutes, after a meal, instead of using your whole weekend or your whole evening to plan. So little bits can also help. Also, healthy meals are boring. They don't have to. Like I said, sometimes just changing up little things like adding a dill pickle to a sandwich can make it more fun. Getting different bread or a different wrap, adding some brown mustard or a different salad dressing, different roasted, not roasted, but like pumpkin seeds, oven roasted pumpkin seeds. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. Or those little pepitos, different greens, you can make a huge difference. And I know in the thread today, Liz commented that she was adding some barbecue chicken to a salad just so that she didn't get bored. So sometimes just tweaking things a little bit like that, you can eat the same foods, but you can change it up a little bit with a little bit of sauce or a little salad dressing or something like that to make it seem completely different. So they don't have to be boring and they don't have to be time consuming. I need to work on eating 3 meals a day. I'm just not eating, as I don't take the time to eat 2 cups of coffee and I'm good to late afternoon. And I know that's not good. Yeah. And why that's not good is because you catch up with it at night. So a lot of times when people tell me, oh, I do really good during the day, I don't eat bad at all during the day, but at night I cannot stop and it's always junk. Well, you didn't do good during the day. If you're skipping meals and living on coffee, that's not eating very good during the day. And it's not a matter of good or bad. It's a matter of fueling your body so that you have the energy and the focus, because our body runs on food. It runs on glucose, basically. Our brain runs on glucose. And so if we don't have the food that's going to get broke down, shipped to the places in our body that we need it, we're going to be run down, we can't focus, we're going to have a headache, and we're not going to be able to stop eating, because once we start, it takes a long time to get our blood sugar back to normal. So the caffeine that you're having is giving you little spikes, but it's also spiking you, dropping you right back down to the bottom. So when you get home and relax and you're not super busy, that's when you're going to overeat. So think of it like meal planning as how much energy do I want to have? How much, focus, and how do I want to get through my day dragging, or do I want to have some energy? And that's where planning, it will make a big difference too. So we are getting there. Okay. Hi, Delis. Glad you joined us. I hope I pronounced your name right. All right. So another misconception is leftovers are gross. You can say I'm not going to eat leftovers ever, but your meal planning is going to be a lot easier if you allow for some leftovers. And there's some things that you can do. Tex-Mex stuff makes great leftovers because the flavors kind of meld together. If you do chicken breast like in the Instant Pot or even the crock pot, and you pour the juice over the chicken breast, it doesn't get that leftover taste. And so, you can even get a rotisserie chicken. You can eat it plain one day. You can put the leftovers in the juice that it comes in, and it's going to be fine to put on a salad or put in a wrap or something like that the next day. So if you store leftovers correctly and add some fun things to it, they don't have to be gross. And no, you don't want to eat leftovers 5 days in a row. But like I said, 2 or 3 times can help a lot when you're meal planning. All right. So the benefits of meal planning, like I have said, like you have noticed, when you skip meals, you eat better. And don't you feel better? Don't you feel better when you plan? A lot of times if you haven't planned, you'll come home and you'll say, like maybe let's say you planned your meal, and let's use spaghetti again, and you have a side salad and a steamed veggie on your menu. So when you come home and you're tired and your brain is not functioning very well, you're going to look at the menu and you're going to go steam a vegetable and put on a salad to have with your spaghetti. But if you haven't planned, you're going to come home and say, oh, we're having spaghetti tonight. Spaghetti's good enough. That's all, because that's all you can think about. But if you've planned, you're going to eat better. So planning makes a difference. I like all recipes, yeah.com. You can pick your serving size. You can search ideas based on ingredients. Exactly. And a lot of people say, well, I don't plan because I don't have recipes. We have the internet, guys. Pinterest. You can Google, if I eat tempeh once in a while and I don't always know how to fix it. So I'll just say recipes, healthy recipes using tempeh. And I get a bunch of them and I can look through and see what ingredients I have and what sounds good and make it. So if allrecipes.com gives you option to put in the ingredients, even better. So there's lots of places to find recipes, and so that's not an excuse. All right, you save time. It seems like you're going to have to take time to make meal plans, but you save time, because just think of that you get home, you might have to run to the store, you kind of dither around trying to figure out what to have. You're wasting time. If you know exactly what to have, then you're going to save time doing that. If you've planned ahead and maybe you've even prepped a little bit ahead. You save money. It is not more expensive to eat healthy. One client told me that she was spending $900 a month on her family to eat out, because they ate out like every night and sometimes every morning for breakfast. It's not more expensive. You can eat healthy for less money if you plan. So do you feel like, does that hold you back? Do you feel like it's too expensive to plan? My lunch is a problem. I've recently opted for frozen. All right, see, that's where leftovers are great. If lunch is an issue, then plan a couple healthy evening meals and take the leftovers the next day. All right. So you actually spend less time thinking about food. I know someone commented that eating healthy, they feel obsessed because they're with food. They have to think about food all the time. If you have done the meal planning, you have sat down in a short, focused period of time, and you have planned out your week, which makes less time thinking about food. So it actually helps there. You decrease last minute stress. What are we going to have for dinner? I don't know. You already know. And you get results. I've said this before. If we are not consistent, we will not get results. If you are not eating nutritionally balanced in the portions that your body needs for your goals, you're not going to get results. So who feels frustrated that you're not getting results? I bet if you did some planning, that would change. And if you planned consistently, that's the thing. You can't start it and do it for a week or two. And then when things start, kind of coming off, you lose a few pounds, and then we get lazy. So consistency is the plan. So following the right plan for your goals can't be willy-nilly. Probably 80% of the time you need to be planning and eating healthy. And so that's where it comes down to making yourself do it. And if you don't like to plan, or you hate doing the prep, you don't really like to cook, then that's where you have to think about what's going to give me results. And am I willing to sacrifice this little bit of time? Am I willing to put forth a little bit of effort and think about it to get results? You've heard me say this before. You have to pick your hard. It's hard not getting results. It's hard not having energy. It's hard feeling out of control and binging on junk in the evening. It's hard to meal plan. It's hard to think of things that you're going to have that's healthy and balanced. It's hard to get to the store. You got to pick your hard. You have to decide what's worth it to you. So, all right. Hey, Regina. All right. So, the winner. All right. All right. Adilis, you are the winner of the Amazon gift card. So be sure to message me and send me your email, and I will send that off to you. Okay. Seems like every time I meal plan, something comes up and we don't eat those meals. Yeah, that's a thing too. And so sometimes it helps not to plan every meal. We're going to talk about this when we actually do some meal planning, but not to plan every meal, but to have a couple meal options on hand and to have the ingredients for that. And so then if something comes up, no worries, you can have that the next night, but at least you have the ingredients and the idea in your head so that you can do that. You can still plan. All right, so let's get started. So personally, you have to decide what is your style. Do you want to do a little bit each day or a few hours on the weekend? And you just have to think about what you're going to do and then be prepared for it. So that on the weekend, are you going to set aside an hour to make a couple meals? Or are you just going to have it in your head that when you're cleaning up after this meal, you're going to do a little extra prep for tomorrow night? So, like on the weekend, you might just roast some vegetables, cook up some chicken. I know like I'll make the tempeh or whatever. Sometimes at the end of the day, like when I'm cleaning up, I'll make this tofu scramble that I like for breakfast if I'm running out. And then I will make enough to last for about 5 days. And so just decide when you want to do it. But either way, make it fun. I have a good audiobook that I like to listen to. I don't like to stand and chop for some reason. That's so boring to me. But if I can listen to my audiobook, I'll chop away. I don't care, or doing the dishes. I hate cleaning up, but if I have an audiobook, it's not so bad. So make it fun. Put on some music, put in an audiobook. If you have a Netflix show and you have a screen in your kitchen, then watch that while you're chopping. Just make it so that you're not dreading it. Make it so that it's kind of fun and that you're committed to getting it done. All right, so let's get started. So start with the meal that's the most difficult for you to control. So I know some of you had said lunch. What else? Is it dinner? I know in the thread on the page, a lot of people said it was dinner that they were having a hard time with. Is it breakfast? Decide right now what meal you're going to plan. Talk to your family. If you have other people that need to eat with you, talk to your family. What do you want to eat this week? I used to ask my family that. Give me an idea. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And I would get 2 or 3 ideas, and then I would make what they want. And a lot of times, if they have a say in what you're making, they'll eat it. It's just if you're trying all new recipes they've never had and they're all healthy, they may not want it. So, ask them. And then if they say they want taco night or they want pizza, you can still make it healthy. You can still add a side dish. And, someone commented before that their family or their husband doesn't like veggies. You can still make 1 serving of steamed veggie for yourself. You can put frozen or raw veggies in the microwave for 3 minutes. And while you're serving up the serving dishes on the table, that can be cooking. You may be the only one that eats it. That's okay. If your husband or kids hate vegetables, mine did, you can still have a vegetable. Or you can have salad that's made up ahead of time and just plop it in a bowl for you. But decide what meal you're going to plan. And we're going to plan that one. So what else? Okay. So if dinner is your issue, we'll just use that as an example. Start with planning 3 dinners for the week. Don't do 7. Start with 3. If you're not planning any now, don't do 7. Start with 3 and come up with 3 ideas. Like you said, you could do roasted chicken by itself one evening and then have the leftovers and burritos or on a salad. You can make up some taco meat and then use that for a salad the next night. Just start small and start with the meal that you're used to making. So don't make a whole bunch of new recipes. Most people eat the same things over and over. And so make a list of those foods and start with some of those meals that you're used to making. Okay. All right. So what are your 5 to 8 go-to meals? Just think about these in your head. Maybe jot them down if you want. Because when you're thinking, I don't know what to eat, if you look over those go-to meals, then you're going to get an idea. And that's where you can bounce it off your family. Like, how about if we have this week? Get their opinion. If you're just eating by yourself and it's just you, kind of think about what you might want. What do you like? And if you need to tweak it later, okay, but at least have some ideas. And then here's the key. Pull out your schedule and look at where will you be this week? What kid activities do you have? What social activities do you have? What nights are you going to get home late from work? When do you have to leave right after dinner to get to an activity, and plan accordingly? So if you aren't going to have much time at home, that might be a leftover night, so cook us some chicken breast or make a big pot of soup or chili or something so that you can just reheat it, especially like if you're going to get home late. Use your crock pot. You can make a lot of things in the crock pot. I used to even sometimes make like lasagna in the crock pot. Doesn't work if you're gone 8 hours, but if you come home for lunch, you can put it in the crock pot and have it ready for the evening. My kids used to love that. And so just think about how much time are you going to have? If you're going to be home all evening without an activity, use that night to maybe cook something that you can eat on during the week. But if your nights are really, cramped and limited, use quick things. And this is where it's helpful to keep like some cauliflower rice and maybe some frozen chicken breasts or a frozen turkey patty that you can just reheat and then have a quick meal. Your salad fixing is ready to go. Roasted vegetables that you've already roasted, they are great cold on a salad, or you can just heat them up and have them with your meal. So you got to plan ahead and say, this night is basketball game or whatever, or this night we're going to meet friends for whatever. So have some leftovers ready. And so that's where you have to look at your week and plan. That might be one of the nights that you plan. Just remember, you only have to do 3. All right. So I used to cut green and red peppers in strips, and they go bad in a couple days. What do you do with them to stay longer? Well, put them in first of all, I don't know that I would cut them up completely, because anytime an edge is exposed, it's going to oxidize. And so maybe take the core out, clean it, take the core out, take the seeds out, but leave it whole, and then slice it up right before when you're going to eat it. If you store it right, like, in a dry container, it should keep for several days. And, maybe just do 1 or 2. That way you could eat it over the course of a couple days. And then the whole ones will keep longer. And then you could cut up 2 or a couple more to have where you can grab. Carrots usually stay. Celery stays fine if you wrap it in foil, or if you put it in ice cold water, it'll stay good that way too. So, maybe don't look at the whole week. Maybe look at what's going to hold you for 2 or 3 or 4 days. Peppers should last 3 or 4 days. All right. So think about things that you can cook ahead of time. Like quinoa, you can make a batch of that. You can freeze it. You can have it, one day as a base for like a stir fry. And then the next day you might want to put it on a salad. The thing with quinoa is if you don't season it, if you just cook it plain, it's good either way. You can have it for breakfast, put some cinnamon on it and some berries and maybe a few almonds. Makes a good like porridge thing. Or you can have it with stir fry. And if you have some chicken from the Instant Pot and some stir fry veggies that you have on hand, that would make a really fast meal. So think about what you can have made up ahead of time. Boil a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. What else? Like taco meat, like I said, can be used in salads, rotisserie chicken. If you're in a pinch, I used to often do this, where if you take frozen chicken tenders, frozen, throw them in the crock pot with like a cup of salsa, maybe a little bit of water on the bottom, just so it doesn't happen to stick as it's cooking, and let it cook on low for 8 to 10 hours. It shreds up perfectly for any Tex-Mex salad or taco or anything like that. And so you don't even have to plan ahead on that. Sometimes just leaving the house in the morning and think, I got to make something for tonight. And I'd throw frozen chicken breasts in and cook them on low. It's perfect. So yeah, and then keeping some things handy, quick fix things, and your frozen dinners, like you talked about, the thing with that, it's going to have a lot of sodium in it. And so there are healthier ones, but it would be better to pick like frozen vegetables that don't have any kind of sauce with them, like frozen cauliflower rice. I like to take frozen cauliflower rice and add the taco meat or the chicken, and then the peppers that you've cut up, and maybe an avocado and a tomato that you can cut up, and you can make a quick like burrito bowl. That's pretty quick. And that didn't take a lot of planning, took maybe 10 minutes to fix, and it's tasty and it makes good leftovers. Instant Pot. Who has an Instant Pot? makes a huge difference because you can boil up a bunch of eggs in 5 minutes. You can make chicken breasts in probably 15 by the time they're completely done, but pretty quickly. And so then you can have those for leftovers. All right. Taco meat, chicken, yeah, brown rice, oatmeal, all of those you can cook ahead. I do steel cut oats in the Instant Pot, and I make up a whole week's worth. And so I just take out a half cup, throw it in the microwave, add my toppings, and it's ready to go. So it does not take long, but you got to think ahead so that you can make it in the Instant Pot ahead of time. All right, remember, the less variety you have at the beginning, the better. Because if you start trying to find all kinds of variety and all kinds of fancy foods, you're going to get overwhelmed. It's going to take more time cooking. It's going to take more time shopping, and you're probably not going to do it. But once you get into the habit, things are going to flow a little easier. But when you first start, be pretty simple. So like I said, with recipes, keep them all in one place. And then maybe once every week or every 2 weeks, if you want to try something new, that's the time to try it. So you can keep them in an online folder. You can keep them all in a box at home if you find a recipe that you want to try. But start out basic, but stock your kitchen with ingredients that you might use. So like minced garlic or garlic powder or, cinnamon, cumin, chili powder, smoked paprika, some of those things that some recipes are going to call for more frequently, so that you have them. And then if you have some meat in the freezer that you can just thaw out and some cauliflower rice or steamed veggie, then you can make something that's pretty quick. But again, you have to have that idea in your head, because when you're brain dead at the end of the day, you're not going to think about it. All righty. So other tips to keep in mind: have some storage containers on hand, because if you make some things and you don't have the proper storage, then your veggies are going to go bad. You're going to have to keep it in one big pot, which isn't bad, but it's not as convenient, especially if you're fixing lunches. Those storage containers are awesome because you can put them all into individual ones, and then you can just take it to work with you or come home and it's ready to go. Keep your variety of spices. Shop from your pantry, or look at your store flyer and see what is on sale, and then shop for those things. Look and see what's in your pantry. Oh, I have some sweet potatoes I didn't use, so I'm going to make some roasted sweet potatoes this week. Use the ingredients that you have in your pantry. Batch cook, like the oatmeal or the chicken breasts, the hard-boiled eggs. Do those things all at once, the roasted veggies, so that you can eat on them several times throughout the week. Wash and prep your veggies right when you bring it home from the store. Then they're ready to go. Super easy. Use your Instant Pot. And like I said, make it enjoyable, because that will make a huge difference. You won't dread it as much. All right. Any other questions so far? All righty. So think about what's holding you back. If you start and you stop, why do you stop? Maybe it just seems like it's too big of a job and it's overwhelming. So remember, start small. People say, I don't have motivation. And remember, motivation is not going to help you do anything. I'm just going to tell you that. It's not going to help you do anything, because motivation comes and goes. And so when you're motivated, great. It feels fun. If you're not motivated, you still got to show up, because once you get that habit going and you start acting, that's when the motivation comes. So you may not feel motivated to meal plan, but once you start meal planning and you start having more energy and you stop binging at night and you see weight loss and you're less bloated, that's going to make you motivated. But you probably had to start planning before the motivation came. So don't let that get in your head that I don't feel motivated, so I can't do it. Start anyway. You got to pick your heart, remember? You know what to do, but you don't do it. So why is that? And that's why you have to do some soul searching. Are you afraid of it being too much work? Are you afraid that your family's just going to turn down everything that you eat? That you fix. So be sure to ask them. You don't see success, so you think it doesn't work. Do some soul searching and think, why do I stop? Is it just because it's extra work? Am I not in a routine? Did I lose sight of my goal and I started looking at how I felt in the moment? Be thinking about what holds you back, because that's where you have to have the heart to heart with yourself and make yourself keep going, because you want the results. So that means you have to keep showing up for yourself. You got to make it a habit. Guys, it gets so much easier if you can get into the habit. So I know on the weekend, usually Friday or Saturday is when we go to the store and we think, oh, we got to make a grocery list. I'm never excited about it. It's like, oh, we got to make a grocery list. But once we start thinking about, okay, 2 or 3 different things to have this week, make the list, get it done, and then the rest of the week is over. So get into a habit of doing that. Get ideas from other people. And that's where, like websites are nice. Having the group is nice. So don't be afraid to come and post and say, I need ideas for dinner. And I try to post that every once in a while just to give people ideas, but ask. That's where we find support and accountability, and that makes a huge difference. So having the accountability keeps everyone on track. So don't feel like you have to, if you don't show up for yourself, having some accountability will make a huge difference. So use it. Use the support that we have here in the group. Also, I want to introduce to you the Over 40 Club. It is a membership, 30 days to a healthier you, where you have access to people in the group. You have access where you can ask questions. I can give you answers on the page. You have the ideas that you need every month to keep showing up, and you have the accountability every single day. So let me show you what comes in that. You get monthly trainings. You get step-by-step guides on the right nutrition for you and meal planning, having meal planning tips to help you go. Also, in the community, in the library that comes with the Over 40 Club, there is a week of recipes. And we are going to be having a live Zoom call this month where we actually do plan out the whole week. So you have a week of meal plans to get started. We're going to make another week of meal plans together with whatever meal that you need, because we're going to do it live. So we're not going to get off the live until it's going to be a Zoom until everyone on the call has their meal plans done. You also get a library of family-friendly, easy-to-fix recipes, trainings to keep you motivated, to keep you showing up for yourself, trainings to help you get unstuck, and then the small supportive community to help you keep going. So let me show you the value of these things. The club itself, where you just have the ideas and accountability, is worth $30 a month. Access to me on the page whenever you need it, whenever you have a question, to have different ideas to answer your specific needs, is worth $150 a month. A library of training is worth $80 a month. The toning and stretching exercises, which are also included, are worth $25 a month. And then the recipes and meal plans, which are updated every month, is worth $30 a month. So you get a value of $315 for only $30 a month. But for you that are on the call and are interested in having some help and accountability, I'm offering you the club membership for the first month for only $12.90 if you sign up in the next 24 hours. So that gives you access to the live meal planning call that we're going to have next week, the meal plans that are already there, the library of recipes, the workout programs, and the daily accountability in the group. And so if you are not making progress on your own, you can get this you can start this off for only $12.90 by using Start Now as a coupon code. That will give you your first month for $12.90, and you can quit at any time. So if you aren't making progress, like I asked before, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from showing up for yourself? And you might just think, no, I'm just going to do better. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on my own. But if you haven't done it on your own or done better in the last 2 or 3 months, why is it going to be different? You need a little kick in the booty to get going. And that's what this month will help you do. That's what this membership will help you do. So, the other thing to look at is your own fear and self-doubt. If you're not showing up for yourself, do you think you can't do it? Or do you think you're not worth it? And that's something else that we look at in the Over 40 Club, is those self-doubts and the not good enough thing that tends to hold us back. So if you aren't making progress, this is the time to start. This is the time, because you have your first month for $12.90, and you spend more than that on your Starbucks coffee, probably in the first 2 or 3 days. So let me know what your questions are. What do you think holds you back? What keeps you from showing up for yourself? What keeps you from meal planning? And you might say, I just don't have ideas or whatever, but there's something else, and maybe it's just making it a habit. Maybe it's getting into the habit of doing it. So let me know, what do you think is holding you back? Hang on here. Let me know. Anybody want to volunteer? All right, I'm going to post the link. Remember, if you join in the next 24 hours using Start Now as a coupon code, you'll get your first month for $12.90, and you will be on the live call where we actually work on the meal plans. Some questions that people come up is, how do you get ideas? And it's just a matter of looking at what you normally have, looking at what you like, and then slowly adding new fun things in. And I'll have to admit, even when I do new recipes, I don't often use them more than once. It's fun to try a new recipe, and once in a while I'll find one that's a keeper, but most of the time we go back to the same thing over and over and over, right? I'm freezing. I don't know. Anyone else? Am I frozen, or can you guys still hear me? How often do you meal plan? Like, that's another question. How often do you need to? Do whatever you need. If you need to take time to meal plan every 2 or 3 days, do that. But that means you're going to have to go to the store every 2 or 3 days. I like to go to the store once a week. And so I meal plan once a week and think about everything I need. And I sit back and I think, okay, what do I need for breakfast? What do I need for my snack? What do I need to put in my smoothie? What do I need for dinner? But I really only plan my dinner. The rest are just kind of things that I have on hand so that I can have access to throwing something together quickly. How often do I have to go to the store? Again, as often as you need to, or as often as you have time for. So if that's just once a week, that's all right. Linda, because of the master program, I'm getting better at staying on track. Yeah. Being accountable. Accountability and having other people do it with you makes a difference, guys. So remember, the Over 40 Club for 24 hours has that super discount, which is 90% off. And that goes until 7 p.m. Central Time tomorrow night, Tuesday night. And we're going to be doing that meal planning, but also there's toning exercises, there's workouts that you can do, and mostly there's support and accountability where I can really answer your questions specifically, whereas on the page, I can't always get to them. All right, so go plan. And she's asking, like, what do you want to have for appetizers? You got to do that with your family. If you have other people that you are cooking for, you need to ask them, what do you guys want this week? What do you need? What are you going to eat so that I have it on hand? I'm just making myself do it. Working 7 days a week and an early starting from home, 5-minute breaks in 8 hours, and I walk 30 minutes on my lunch. You're doing awesome with your walking, Pandy. That's awesome. So I just don't take time to eat. Yeah. That's where accountability can help you, having some meal plans, making yourself eat. Guys, we take better care of our cars than we do ourselves. We keep our cars full of oil and full of gas and the tires filled up. Why don't we do that for ourselves? If you eat, your blood sugar is going to be better. Everything is going to work better. You're going to have more energy. Blood pressure is probably going to get better. Think about this. We get the nutrients that help all of those bodily processes from our food. And so we got to eat. And so make it quick. If you don't take time, if you don't feel like you have time to sit down and eat a meal, first of all, reevaluate your priorities. Second of all, make your meals quickly. You can eat a meal in 10 minutes, especially if you eat frequently. If you're going to eat a huge meal, yeah, it's going to take 20 to 30. But if you're eating quickly, something small will do, but that will keep your blood sugar up. What if what they want isn't healthy? Good point. So if they don't want, give me an example, Marilyn, what would they want? You can still add side dishes that are healthy. I never made 2 main dishes. So we grew up on a farm. And so, well, my kids grew up on a farm. I did too. But so if they wanted a roast or meatloaf or grilled hamburgers or whatever, no problem. I just made enough side dishes that I could have a small portion of the roast or the meatloaf or the whatever, but I had enough side dishes. If you've done my trainings before, half your plate fruits and vegetables, remember, I had enough side dishes that I had plenty to eat without overdoing on the unhealthy stuff. So Marilyn, what does your husband want? Like, what is his go-to? Like, if you say, what do you want to eat this week? What would he say? What would he want? Chicken fried steak and gravy. All right. So, make chicken fried steak and gravy, but make a salad, steam some broccoli so that you can have a little piece of the chicken fried steak, maybe not the gravy if you're not a lover of that, and lots of veggies on the side. He may not want the salad. He may not want the steamed broccoli. That's okay. That's all right. But make it for you. Make one serving for you. It does not take any longer to make 5 servings as 1 serving. So just put enough, put a cup of something in the microwave and steam it, and you're going to be ready to go. I feel like I'm eating more, but I'm not snacking or eating after 7 because I don't feel hungry. Yeah. Once you eat better, your evening cravings are going to go away. And I'll tell you this also, if you stop eating after dinner, you're going to sleep better. If you have a bunch of food in your stomach when you go to bed, you're not going to sleep well. And so if you stop eating, you eat dinner and then you're done, you're going to start sleeping better. So, all right. Any other questions? I don't want to keep you ladies any longer. Let me know if you have any other comments. You're welcome. Yeah, if you have questions that come up later, just come and post it here. But join the club, guys. If you are not making progress and you just need a little hand holding, join the club. I mean, it's ridiculously inexpensive. It's the cheapest way to work with me. And so if you want to pick my brain for a month, get it for $12.90 and then quit in a month. But at least use it to get started. And join us for the live Zoom where we're going to do some meal planning. So, all right, ladies. Have a good evening and let me know what your questions are later if they pop up.